Hey y'all. So you know how oftentimes in the weigh-in, you all will talk about the challenges that you have throughout the week when you do find yourself overeating, emotional eating, stress eating, or just eating in general when you're not hungry. And you come to the weigh-in and you're like, I know I know I'm not supposed to, or like I'm frustrated that I'm still doing this, and like this week was just really tough, and like I didn't do it as much, but I did it a little bit, etc. So I want to share with you this personal story that might be a reminder for you that what we're working towards is we're not working towards eliminating stress eating, getting rid of emotional eating, stopping the overeating. And I'm not saying that that's not a goal, but what I'm saying is that that's not the work. The work is building resilience. Building resilience in the face of times when life gets hectic, when stress comes to visit, when the emotions are like, I have rained down on you and I'm going to flood your entire insides, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. I need you to feel me. And in those moments, your typical, most programmed, most habitual response has been to eat. So when I first started this practice back in 2012, 2013, it was 2012, but I'm saying those 2 years because that is like the most pivotal time for me in my life around this mindful nutrition when I started. And as I've shared with a lot of y'all before, it started for me because my father died. I had also foreclosed on 2 houses and lost a $300,000 investment within the span of 7 days. When my father died, that was the icing on the cake. I mean, the money was hectic, trust. The money was hectic, but I can always get money back again. I can always get houses back again. But I knew that there was no amount of food that would ever bring my father back again. And I made the switch to say, I am going to start mindful eating. I'm no longer going to eat my emotions, and I'm going to feel my feelings, and I'm going to feel so that I can heal. And as a result of that mindset, that shift, that determination, that will, I said, you know what? I don't know what to do with these feelings other than to get them out of me. And the quickest way for me to do that was to write them in a journal. And so I went to the store and I got not something this big, actually. I got something that was more palm size because I was living life and I knew that I wasn't just eating at home. I was also eating on the street, eating in a car, eating wherever the hell I was. So I walked around with this journal for 2 years. And in that journal, that little hand pocket, and I still have it actually, it's in my archives. I'll bring it out one day and share it with y'all. But I would, in the moment when I felt a craving come up, and at the time it usually showed up as cravings. I want something sweet. I want a donut. I want some chips. I want some fries. I want a burger, a cheeseburger with bacon. Like, it would be so specific. I knew like this wasn't Hunger Girl. Like, this was my feelings ordering up a menu of food to like, calm them down as a habit. And so I said, okay, cool. I'm just going to write everything down. And that's what I did. I started writing everything down the minute I felt the craving. I didn't care where I was. If I was in a space where it wasn't appropriate, I would excuse myself to the bathroom and go write it down in my journal. Because what I was seeing in real time was that the minute I moved it up and out, guess what also moved up and out? The craving, the desire to eat. And over time, less and less, I would run to food, and I started running to my journal. And as a result, I lost 60 pounds in 1 year. I actually started eating according to my hunger. It felt good. It felt so good to meet this version of myself that could show up for herself and just eat when she was hungry, stop when she was full, and journal when she was feeling, and cry or scream or just feel the discomfort without it killing me, without it taking over my day. And so that practice was life-saving and life-changing, and that's what started this mindful nutrition work and the mindful nutrition school that you all are part of. But then what happened is over time, over the years, I was like, okay, cool. I don't necessarily need to journal as much anymore. And I even started recording on the voice, doing videos like this sometimes to myself, but oftentimes doing a voice recorder. And then it got to the point where I just really wasn't doing it. I just wasn't doing it because I thought that I didn't need it. Well, recently I had a situation where I had 3 major events that on their own, ordinarily, I could have been like, okay, we can handle this. They all came at one time, like my father dying, like the foreclosure, like losing $300,000. And they were very painful and they were very frustrating. And you know what Shelly did? Shelly, who teaches you here at the Mindful Nutrition School, Shelly relapsed. And that old version of Shelly who went to food instead of went to her journal showed up. And for a period of time, I was eating my feelings. And I was eating the way that I used to eat, where it was very specific things. Nothing made sense. It's like, I want pancakes, specifically, girl, what is English? Specifically, cinnamon roll pancakes with the pecans and nachos. This ordinarily doesn't make sense. Like, those are not things that I would ever eat together. But this isn't about sense. This is about not feeling feelings and stuffing them down because I can't deal with this shit right now because I got to keep it going because I got all this other stuff I'm trying to deal with and I just can't stop right now to go process these feelings. So I was eating and eating and eating. And I've shared with a lot of you that I stay in therapy. Therapy has been so helpful for me because it's a place for me to process so that I don't have to process it on the plate. I have a weekly appointment, and I don't always make it every week because sometimes I'm therapist counsel, sometimes I have a conference or something I got to do, but you can bet at least 3 times a month I am sitting in somebody's therapy and I am processing things so that I don't have to take it to the kitchen and process it on my plate. And this particular time, my therapist had actually, she was getting sick. It was a whole bunch of stuff happening. And then there were times where I had to cancel because I had other stuff come up. So the therapy wasn't processing. So I was taking it to my kitchen and everybody else's kitchen that I could find on Uber Eats. I was embarrassed because I was like, I teach this. I should know better. But I'm not doing better. How am I gonna tell my people, don't do this, make sure you process your feelings, go to your journal, use the emotional eating discovery worksheet that I created. But it happened. So here's where the story comes together. This process of taking out what's in and putting it out, whether it lives on your paper or lives on your phone through your voice note, it doesn't matter whether things are going great or things are going hectic and crazy. What matters is that you show up every single moment when it's time to eat, when you're feeling to eat, and you get in the habit of writing what you eat and how you feel before you eat it. Because that is about building resilience. And I had gotten into the mindset that, it's been years, I haven't needed that forever. But because I wasn't in the habit of doing it the way that I was early on when I first started this work, I had lost touch. I had lost touch of right, this actually works. And I was just falling back into that old neural connection that's when you feel, you eat, versus the new neural connection that I had also built but had weakened over time because I wasn't feeding it, which is when you feel, you deal, and then you can eat if you decide you still want to eat. But most of the time you feel, you deal, and then it goes away. So I just want to remind you all that this particular work with Mindful Nutrition is really about building resilience. It's about building up the relationship and the trust that you have with yourself, that when feelings arise, that you have the capacity and the integrity of your word that you will process it. Because at the end of the day, if we treat our feelings like irritable inconveniences that we just want to go away, we're really treating ourselves like an irritable inconvenience that we just want to go away. Our feelings are part of our experience, and they're there to serve us. They're there to say, hey, slow down, wait, pay attention. I want to show you something. Hey, I'm knocking at your door. Will you listen? I got something I want to share with you. I need you to look at this thing, because if you don't look at this thing, And if you don't pay attention to it, then that other thing that you're over there desperately trying to do, trying to get to, it's going to continue to elude you because you haven't addressed here. If you address here, I promise I'll disappear and then you'll get closer to that thing you're trying to get to. But as long as you keep looking over there and ignoring what's actually here, you'll never, ever, ever get past this point. You'll just keep going in circles. You'll just keep carrying me like baggage. You'll be a bag lady like Erykah Badu. And I'm asking you to open up the bag and look at what's inside and start unpacking me. And I get that there's some things that you don't want to see. I get that there's some things in there that you're not going to love. But I promise you that if you just love on me a little bit, if you just love on me a little bit, just love on me with your attention, love on me with some understanding, love on me with some compassion. If you just love on me, I will transform. And as a result, your eating habits will transform. And as a result, all those goals that live within your vision will transform too. So focus on building resilience. Consider getting a notebook that you walk around with where you write down what you had for breakfast and what you had for lunch or dinner for snack. And then you write down the feelings, any feelings that you had before. I don't care if there were no feelings. It could be I ate a tuna fish sandwich and some chips and I had half a cup of soda. I was hungry. That was it. Nothing was happening. I was just hungry. It was time to eat. Or it could be I ate some pickles, a spoonful of peanut butter. I had a half a candy bar and some chips, and I was just grazing throughout the day because really and truly I was irritated. My job was stressing me out. I got this other situation. I'm frustrated. I'm mad that I'm still here. Like, why the fuck am I still emotional eating? Like, I know better. I'm trying to process this. Why? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you show up regularly and you just write and process what's happening. Because the more you process what's happening, the more you build resilience within yourself and the more you build trust with yourself that you actually do have the tools. You are quite capable of making a transition, of transforming your eating habits so that you transform your life. All right, y'all. Take care. I'll see you in our next weigh-in.